Broncos defeat the Raiders in one of the greatest finals games I personally have ever witnessed. It had everything, all the drama. It also had things we've never, ever seen before. I think the positive you can take away from both teams is when the game's on the line in finals and you need to go into the trenches, both teams showed they can go into the trenches. They can go toe-to-toe with some of the best rugby league in the competition. I thought the Broncos, matter of fact, both teams, when you actually look at their completion rate, at times didn't play their highest quality footy, but when the game ticked up to that extra layer or extra level of finals footy, they both took a step into that level. That's what's exciting for both teams. I think both teams are absolutely still premiership, not favourites, but definitely premiership contenders. They can win the comp from here. One of the greatest games I've ever watched of rugby league. It had everything. Everything. Root?
You want to jump first? Or?
Yeah, well... you asked me, like when I came in the studio today, how was it? And I just said it was still a blur. It honestly was. That much went on that I've forgotten half of it. I have no intention of watching the highlights again because I'm not interested. But so much happened. It was one of, who's going to push back if you said it was the greatest game of all time? In terms of sheer entertainment, seriously, what beats it?
When it comes to finals games,
Matty's going to push back.
Yeah, well, when it comes to finals games, and I'm sure there's ones I'm forgetting, guys, but just 24 hours after of what I can remember, just finals game, I'll always think that the Cleary Panthers win of Broncos is number one, just because of the way it all happened. But finals games, for me, it's the most entertaining finals game I've ever watched.
And the Penrith Broncos grand final, that was the most hectic. Because it was the grand final, it was at stake.
And it was high quality too.
But if the Broncos, and I know context is everything, but if the Broncos-Panthers one was week one of finals and a non-elimination sort of thing, this game was more entertaining, for sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
100%
That's fair, because we saw things we've never seen before.
Everything.
But Matty, he has a different opinion.
I believe that Roosters, and I hate the Roosters. This is no bias here, but I reckon Roosters Tigers 2010 final.
I love that he still points it out in case we forgot.
I thought you liked him.
No, not a fan. Sheer drama. I reckon that's number one. I reckon it beats yesterday. I think the moment, you compare the thing that got him to extra time, Reece Walsh kicked a penalty goal off a bad rule. Anasta kicked
But the game was finished.
Yeah, but Anasta, they were down 14-15. Okay, I'll go back a little bit. Tigers had the scrum with 1 minute to go and they were up by one.
The most West Tigers thing
After
ever.
Simon Dwyer killed Jared Hero-Hargraves.
How many weeks for that these days?
That'd be 10 weeks these days. It was a scrum. The Roosters won the feed. They won the feed against the feed. And then they throw the ball around for a minute before Minicello throws it back to Anasta, who then nails the field goal.
From the sideline?
From pretty much the sideline. It was a hard kick. Then they go to Golden Point for 19 straight minutes, and the game's decided by an intercept that's by Kenny Dowell on halfway. And also, in that game as well, Mitchell Pearce and Benji both punched on. They both got sent to the bin. I'm pretty sure. That was hectic. Gareth Ellis scored a hat-trick in the first half, and none of the tries were awarded. It was just pure drama, and it was also first week of finals, I'm pretty sure. Last night was amazing, but I think it's second to that.
Okay, so I'll go through what happened last night, and then we'll let the people decide. Or you can obviously write a reply. So 3 people got sent to the bin. Hudson Young essentially got sent to the bin for getting in someone's face and yipping and yahooing. Reece Walsh headbutted a bloke. He walked off and gave the crowd the finger.
2 fingers, one on each hand. And also licked his lips or whatever he was doing, like Gene Simmons impersonation.
The Broncos were down by 16, I think, with about 16 minutes to go or something like that.
I think it was 18.
16 or 18. They score a bunch of tries. So Walsh comes back on after giving the crowd the finger, after headbutting Hudson Young, after getting sent in the bin. He comes back on and puts on one of the greatest performances we've ever seen.
Must have gone and drunk out of a toilet in there.
No, hey, mate. They've got to check the performance enhancers in the toilet. Seriously.
pH level.
He comes on, plays one of the greatest 15 minutes you'll see. I still think Cleary's is number one, grand final, everything. But he plays one of the greatest. They score those points. He misses from the sideline, but they somehow get within 2 points. The game's on the line. He kicks from 40 out. It hits the crossbar, doesn't go in. Then he has another shot at it, doesn't he? There's another shot
the buzzer.
on the buzzer. got charged down, but at the same time, Hosking. He has another shot. The buzzer goes. Raiders and all the fans go off. They're celebrating like they've won. Now, there's 2 whistles, but the first whistle goes as if the game's over, but the video ref has a chance to check it. So the Raiders are celebrating like they've won the game. Then he gets hit in the leg, which one of the most dubious, like a call that no one likes in rugby league, but it is a penalty. It has been for the last year or two. So they get the penalty in front. The game ends. They come back out and play. And in the last, basically back and forth, the Raiders look like they're going to win it. Then Mariner intercepts the ball on his own line, which saves the Broncos. Then in the last few seconds of just extra time, a club legend's son and the coach's son, Ricky Stewart, Jet Stewart, makes the match-winning play. The Raiders think they've won the game again. The whole crowd goes up. The team goes up. They are celebrating a victory. They go to the video ref. It is disallowed. Club legend's son, Jet Stewart, coach's son. The play turns from a match-winning play to, unfortunately, at this stage, they haven't won it. And then, to finish the game, Ben Hunt, who dropped the grand final ball in 2015, is the one, and he was brought back to club just this year. He's the one to drop goal from about 30 out or so to win them the game. That's why I think it's the greatest finals game I can remember anyway.
Reece Walsh walked back on the field in the 62nd minute. He set up a try in the He scored a try in the 65th. He then set up a try in the 69th. He then kicked a 40-20 2 minutes after that. Shibasaki's next try, he didn't have a hand in that. That 3 or 4 minutes was just fucking insane.
Absolutely bonkers.
He's a goldfish. He has no memory whatsoever. It was the same as when he was at the Warriors. Whenever the game's in the line, he wants the ball in his hands. I always said it. He'll make 10 mistakes. He'll go, fuck it, I want to make the 11th. Well, try and win this game of football. That's all I think about.
Yeah. What's crazy is that performance couldn't have been more Reece Walsh. To have such a huge brain explosion where you essentially cost your team the game, to come back out and do what he did. All right, let's talk about the controversy, guys. Let's talk about the controversy. So,
which one?
Yeah, which one? Exactly. So basically, they drop the ball. Hudson Young runs from, 5-6 metres away, gets in Reece Walsh's face, give him a little bit of a chest bump, starts yipping and yahooing. Walsh turns around, headbutts him. Hudson Yorkshire kiss. Hudson Young falls over. Anyway, so that happens. Hudson Young gets sent for 10. Walsh gets sent for 10. But the Broncos, I'm pretty sure, got the penalty, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they did. So there's the controversy. Now, my personal opinion is I hate that Hudson Young got sent for 10. Why do both teams get punished equally? I don't agree with it. However, they have been reffing like that for quite a while now, where if you instigate the fight or the push and shove or whatever it is, you'll go for 10 as well. Boys, as I said, I don't agree with it, but that's what they've been adjudicating recently. Thoughts?
Yeah, I hate it. I think it's ridiculous that Hudson Young left the field. It's like we just sat here in the game before and go, how good was it? Mulatalo got in people's faces, blah, blah. You're sending a message that if Mulatalo says anything, you should just jab him in the head. You both get punished, and you both get equal punishment for it. It's just ridiculous. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I thought what you said pre-show about him being a role model in the game and everything, I think that matters as well.
Okay, it's a joke. So, all right, grand final day, Panthers v Storm. Grant Anderson makes a mistake and Nathan Cleary lips up at him. Grant Anderson, Belly H says, just headbutt him, mate. You'll both go to the bin, but they lose Nathan Cleary for 10 minutes. I think Hudson Young getting binned for 10 minutes for throwing a bit of chirp on the field. Reece Walsh has a tantrum and headbutts him. Highly illegal. And Hudson Young gets 10 in the bin for chirping. I think it's a disgrace. I think it's ridiculous.
Do you think that they haven't been reffing like that all year? Or do you think that
a player hasn't been binned for chirping?
I think for instigating a fight, they've been binned for it.
Instigating a fight though, Reece Walsh lashes out and headbutts him. Ronnie Mulatalo put a shot on Rob Toyer. If Rob Toyer gets up and reacts poorly to that and headbutts him or punches him, does Mulatalo get binned because he gave him a mouthful?
Probably. We've seen penalties be given away where, I think it was Bulldogs Storm earlier in the year where I think Munster got in someone's face and then the Bulldogs guy tried to fight him, but there was no punches thrown, and the Bulldogs got the penalty even though
Was Munster
there's an
binned?
error or something like that.
Was Munster binned or anything?
Well, I don't think anyone got threw any punches or anything like that. I'm agreeing with you. I don't like it either. I'm just saying the refs have been penalising, and I'm pretty sure binning people for initiating things like that before.
Okay, I still don't agree with it because this is rugby league and people have cracks at each other all the time. Even if they want to give the Broncos the penalty because he instigated it, sin bin for it, please.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just saying that to my understanding, the refs have been reffing like.
But
What do you reckon?
has a player been binned this year for chirping up? Penalised maybe, but binned.
Well, I mean, I think the Broncos, the fucking Dolphins, Roosters, no punches were thrown, but all 4 got sent to the bin.
Even that was like
That was a bit-
15 people in on a scuffle and it boiled over and
Yeah, bit of a melee. And
That kind of boiled over too. Like Tarpana came running in.
Spencer Leniu kind of pretended to kind of like square up to him, whatever. So even that's a bit different. Like to go up to someone and just give him a bit of a bake for making a mistake. That's on Reece Walsh for losing his cool and headbutting him. So if someone chirps you, just go up and whack him. That's the
I'm with you,
standard now?
guys. I am with you.
Doesn't sound like it.
No, I'm saying that they've been reffing like that at least this
I
year.
don't think they have been doing it all year. That again, that's the issue because sometimes they do, e.g. the Roosters versus Dolphins game. Sometimes they don't, and then when it gets to a big game where it's all high and it all means a lot more, it just turns into a bit of a shit show.
Like for example, All Blacks, Spencer squared up to him.
Yep.
All Blacks squared up. That's all Blacks did. He didn't throw a punch. He didn't land anything. He didn't land anything. Put it that way. Didn't land anything.
I think the headbutt takes it a step further.
it's a
though.
joke.
I think a headbutt's heaps worse than a punch.
Yeah, again, guys, you're talking to me like I don't agree with you.
No,
I
we're
agree
talking
with
to
you.
the show. We're talking to people.
But I just think that's the way they've been reffing this year. If you instigate something, and what Ashley Klein said in the audio to Hudson Young is you took the control out of the game out of my hands by going up and instigating that. That's what he said. To paraphrase.
Well, if people are going to get binned for chirping up, then our game's in a very dark place. Because a very bad precedent has been set by this, put it that way.
Well, given the fact that he penalised someone for an incorrect play of the ball on the second play of the game, maybe it was good that someone took the game out of his hands for a little bit there. Anyway,
That definitely has been a penalty all year long.
has.
Yeah. The Starling one.
Oh, come on, Kempy.
What?
In a huge final, 2 top 4 teams, you're going to stop the game and penalise that? He was up on his feet and he played.
And he fell over. That's been a penalty all year long.
Please.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I just think the moments that we decided to stick with what's worked all year, knock-ons, for example, we went completely away from that.
Hip
It's like,
drops.
okay, sure.
Hip drops
Then
as well.
You have, I just find it bizarre that these sort of things were the things they stuck to. No, I don't have as big an issue with that, but the headbutt situation, I'm just like, that's fucking outrageous. That's
It's outrageous that it's absolutely beyond outrageous that the Raiders were punished worse than the Broncos. It's outrageous because not only did you get a man sent to the bin, you lost a penalty.
Got penalised for it too.
Like that's
Seriously.
actually outrageous. And so I'm totally with you on that. My only point is that that's to my understanding with all the rugby league I've watched. That's how they've been penalising and even turning in the bin people. If you instigate it and something happens, it kicks off. You know what it'd be? We always bag it, but this is actually one week where I would like to hear the NRL explain what their thought process was. Like when they used to have the week Monday. I'd love to hear what their thought process was for it. Okay, with that all out of the
I
way.
would, to be honest with you.
No, it'd piss me off, I reckon.
Yeah, it
Really?
pisses me off.
I didn't mind
You're
those press
saying
conferences.
pisses me off, and you're not even trying to piss me off.
Well, I guarantee, even though I've said a million times that I agree with you guys, there will still be people saying, fuck you, Kempy. You fucking it'll still happen. Now, if you want to debate that this hasn't happened all year, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But I watch a lot of footy and I'm pretty sure it has. Okay, now the next big controversy. So Reece Walsh, he will just get a fine. For the headbutt. And Paddy Carrigan will get 1 week. So we'll just talk about the Reece Walsh, then we'll get into the other one. So I'd love to get your thoughts. We've spoken about this already off air, guys. So if it sounds like we're halfway through a conversation, we might be. But I'd love to get your thoughts. And obviously, I'll put it on the table. there are other incidences of headbutts happening and people getting fined for it. I think it was Saifidi last year and a Morgan Smithies this year. Anyway, thoughts, boys?
Before you start, I just want to point out it was grade 1 striking.
Okay, so it was grade 1 striking. Does that mean...
I'd hate to see what grade 2 is.
Yeah.
But yeah, grade 1 striking just for context.
Which is the same as what Morgan Smithies would have got and would have been the same as Saifidi got last year, I think. Thoughts, boys?
I think, unfortunately, I'm going to have the exact same conversation I did on the last one. I did the same thing with Morgan Smithies, so whatever, but I don't know how you can not get a suspension for a headbutt like that where you walk up to someone and do that. It seems outrageous to me.
The shit in our game that people get suspended for these days, absolutely nothing incident. Literally, you can be running past a ref chasing a ball and you flick them on the elbow and you've come in contact with the ref just by accident and you get suspended for a week. But then you can go and headbutt a player with intent out of nothing. Okay, you got chirped at and didn't take it well, and not get a week for that is ridiculous. And I know you're going to, preface and say the Morgan Smithies incident earlier in the year, they're not doing the same in any way for me. Reece Walsh didn't like being spoken to like that, and he had a brain explosion. Morgan Smithies, who, for the record, when he did earlier, I think he should have been suspended for a week as well, because I think a headbutt is a headbutt, and I just think it's in no way, shape or form is it on in our game. And the Morgan Smithies one, there were 3 players on him. He was wrestling to get out of a tackle. He was aggravated by it and did it. As I said, should have been suspended as well. And look, maybe there's a precedent there on headbutts. I don't think that is the same as what Reece Walsh did to Hudson Young. And I just can't believe he didn't get a week for it, mate. And at the end of the day, when we look at right now the pin-up boy of rugby league who kids adore and they watch him go and headbutt someone, he doesn't get a week for it, what are they going to do in the future when they get riled up on a field?
Yeah, the Smithies one for me, 3 blokes hanging off him, not excusing the headbutt. Should have been suspended. It was against the Tigers as well. Should have been suspended. It looked bad, blood coming out and all that sort of stuff. But different circumstances though. Blokes hanging off him, making a tackle. This other one was a break in play, a bit of push and shove, and he chose to, he could have turned around and walked away or shoved him off or something like that. He chose to headbutt him. Very different.
Yeah, I think where I disagree is Morgan Smithies could have chose not to headbutt. He headbutted him so hard, he's got blood all over his face, whereas love tap from Walsh. I think that it should be a suspension, but if you've already set the precedent that headbutts are not suspension, then I think it's unfair to suspend him. Anyone watching that tackle with Morgan Smithies, that was a clear intentional headbutt. So hard, he had blood all over his face. The way we have a different opinion, whether he's getting tackled or whether he's getting chirped at, if you intentionally headbutt someone, regardless of what the environment is, and this guy got away with it, then I think this guy should get away with it.
You know what? If it was Corey Pakes, he's getting away for it.
100%. Without doubt.
Well, the only reason that goes against that though is because Morgan Smithies is a small name and he didn't get.
Yeah, but it wasn't a big. I don't know difference. Like playing the Tigers in round 16 at Campbell. I know it should be all equal, but I think there's
I don't know if you can start judging. Aren't we to try to get to as consistent basis as possible? See, I think a headbutt should be a suspension, but I think if you've already set the precedent that it's not,
I'd say that.
Then it's unfair. It's unfair for Walshy to get suspended for that. Now, I will say. We'll get Matty, your thoughts on that, mate?
I'm going back to this grade 1 striking thing. How is that a grade 1 striking? He walked up, he headbutted him. That should be grade, maybe not grade 3, but that should be grade 2. How is that the lowest form of striking? That's absolutely absurd.
Maybe the contact amount was what they're looking at?
Maybe, but I think they've looked at the Judiciary code, said, all right, grade 1 will get him a fine. We want Reece Walsh in the prelim. I think that's definitely what's happened.
And I think that's the other thing that makes it so hard for fans is that, you've got the Taylor May situation a couple of years ago where they, put that sentencing back so he can play finals. You've then got Nico Hines last week. Montoya didn't fucking play on the weekend because of Nico Hines. How is he allowed to play based on everything we've found out throughout the season? We're not even sure if Montoya is going to play this week. It's ridiculous. And then you have this one as well. It's just got a feel to it. The NRL just wants their best players to be playing at the best times.
Well, it feels sometimes like they're consistent when they want to be and inconsistent when they don't. Him not playing, in my opinion, and I know there's a little bit of a difference, is consistent because Morgan Smithy got off. But the Nico Hines one with the hip drops, hip drops disappeared this week. As in, Payne Haas got hip dropped by Starling, and he might be injured for next week. He might not be at 100% or whatever. And look, I don't want Starling to get any time in the bin. I don't want him to get even in trouble. But I'm just saying the consistency week to week. Okay, so there's that in regards to the headbutt. So you guys all feel he definitely should go at least a week?
I think it was worthy of a week, but I understand what you're saying.
I'm fine. I would have been fine with a week. And I've said it before, finals are a different beast. We want the best players on the field as often as possible. And, some would argue for 2 weeks for a headbutt like that. I'm like, no, give him the week. If the Broncos are good enough to make the grand final, have him on deck for that. But I thought this was an isolated incident that you can't compare it to much. A straight up headbutt, it's different to a hip drop. It's different to an arm slipping up for high contact. It's different to all of those. And but I thought it was a week.
1 week?
Yep. You know what I would have been comfortable with? If they went a week and they gave it the old tailor-made job from a few years ago and go, do it next year, though. Don't ruin the finals with it.
A week? 2 weeks?
If I'm not looking at the Judiciary code, I'm giving him a week. But at grade 2, striking's 2 weeks. So based on their code, that makes no sense that they need a review at the end of the year because it's absolutely ridiculous. He should have got 2 weeks. But I think 2 weeks is way too much. I think it should be 1 week.
Okay, now to the other one. Me personally, I actually think this is substantially worse. Now, I know the look of the... So it's been 1 week, the Paddy Carrigan shoulder charge to the head. I actually think he is lucky to be playing again this year. I think normally, and this is where I do think that they've looked at Pat Carrigan, finals footy, grand finals, and they've gone, let's just give them a week and hope they make the grand final if they end up making the grand final or whatever. Because this was genuinely dangerous for me. Like the headbutt, the reason why I'm a little bit, the headbutts is not as, I know the look of the game, I get all that, but I'm more worried about danger in rugby league. To shoot out of the line, first contact be the head, and the only thing, in my opinion, that saved Carrigan from being sent from the field was Morgan Smithies having a bit of ticker about him and getting straight up. He could have easily, if he lays down and pretends he's Gonskis, I think Carrigan may have gotten sent from the field. I think he's lucky to be in consideration for a grand final if they make it. I think that is one where if they had said 2 to 3 weeks, I would have said, you know what, I can understand it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it looked like a 2 weeker to me.
Yeah, look, I mean, regular season or any other time is probably 2+. Again, same argument. If the Broncos make a grand final, I want to see Pat Carrigan in it. And I don't mind the Taylor May one of, give him a week in the prelim, whatever it is, and then, I don't know, if you backdate for the year after, I understand you're opening a bit of a can of worms at times, and there'd need to be some more regimented and strict rules around it, but I want to see Pat Carrigan on grand final day if they're there. I'm happy for it to be 1 week, and
Tony?
Yeah, I'm glad that it's a week. I mean, yes, probably deserves a couple more, but just to leave the door ajar for him to be involved in a grand final if they get there, comfortable with it from that perspective.
What do you reckon, Matty?
I think, according to the code again, literally, I think it was grade 2. And grade 2 is 1 week, so I'm happy with 1 week.
Okay, fair enough. The reason why I'm a bit harsh on this one is it's just the danger of it. Like, that's one area of our game that is going to be defining when it comes up in the future. And that's long-term damage for Morgan Smithies. Like, anytime you get knocked like that, and he got fucking hammered, if it was anyone less tough than Morgan Smithies, I reckon he's down and he's probably not coming back on the field. But and I know concussions aren't necessarily about toughness, but there are certain players that push through that kind of stuff, and Morgan Smithies is that guy. I think Paddy Carrigan is super, super lucky. Super, super lucky. That's the stuff that is actually dangerous, the stuff that is going to affect the game long term. So, I do think the Broncos got out of this extremely lucky, extremely fortunate. And I do agree with, if you were to say, if Jared Warrior-Hargreaves did the headbutt, is there any way he's getting out of it? I don't know. I don't think he is. No. And it's not just Reece Walsh that would get away with it. There are a few glamour players in this game that are superstars that probably do get a bit of lenience because of how big they are as players. I think if Victor Radley does it, he might be missing 2 weeks from the headbutt. And same with the contact with the shoulder.
I think it's just like when incidents happen in contact, making a tackle, having a run, it is a split second, in the moment, lots of things going on around you that impact and influenced the illegal shot or whatever it might be. There was nothing to instigate Reece Walsh doing this. He was standing there, he had his breath, he was getting a gobful, and he chose to do this with complete intent, and that's what stings me.
Okay. All right, let's get to the game. I thought Ricky Stewart, although I disagree with his initial point, because he basically said that you're allowed to headbutt now, I agree with the sentiment around why the fuck am I getting the same punishment as the Broncos? I definitely do. I thought he handled himself with class in that press conference. I really do. There's a lot of things that you can understand why coaches lean more towards their side. There are a lot of things that happened in that game, even though I agree with, I think that Klein made the right call in regards to disallowing the try. I hate the call. I think it's the rankest fucking penalty ever when it comes to drop goals. But that has been a consistent thing for a long time now. I thought Ricky Stewart handled the press conference absolutely outstandingly.
He almost handled it disappointingly so well, if I'm completely honest. I thought we were going to get some real fireworks.
Yeah. I just want to give him credit because, and we joke about it all the time, how passionate he is. In a moment where Raiders fans were looking to him for, if he had come out there and fucking smash the refs, Raiders fans would have been like, absolutely agree with you. In a moment when you need your leader to be calm and collected and focus on the next week, I thought he handled it as a real leader should.
He was fantastic in it, wasn't he? That's it. Everyone was expecting fireworks, and he got his point across and did it in a very measured manner. And like as you said, there are just so many moments in this game. On full time, the Reece Walsh one where Zach Hosking flicks his foot. Another disgraceful rule in our game. It's a penalty. It just is, and we all know that, and it needs to be changed. And it's not. This isn't Raiders bias saying it now, because when Harry Grant did it, who was it against?
We hated it then too.
Yeah, we did that, and we're like, it's just so poor, and they're not all the same as, again, everyone throws out the Ilias one in Cup. It's just not the same. It is the rule. It was a penalty,
and also the Hosking one's a little bit different too, because he came from a different kind of angle as well. If you were looking at look, I'm not a physio or whatever, but it was the safest of the non-safe play or whatever.
The Ilias one, I can't remember who did it, but he was going straight at his body, full steam at the leg. Hosking, literally, I think it's half in his mind about it, and I reckon you see him veer to the right to try and get away, but he flicks him. So.
Yeah. I think Ricky handled his, with just so much professionalism, and shows you why he's a great coach, he's a great leader, he's a great player. Okay, we'll talk about the Raiders first, and then we'll talk about the Broncos. Look, the positive, it depends how you view it. If you're glass half empty, you go, how are you losing a 16-point lead or 18-point lead or wherever it was? But the positive for me is, for much of that game, they physically dominated the Broncos. They physically dominated, and Broncos couldn't get it over their own end. Outside of that first 5 minutes where the Broncos scored that early try, I felt like the Raiders withstood that pressure and just said, okay, let's click into gear. That's one try. It's the first few minutes of the game. Who cares? And once they clicked into gear, they just looked so in control. Kyle Weeks was outstanding. Hudson Young was next level outstanding. I think there's still a lot to like about the Raiders. I think that it took a talent that is a generational talent to do something insane to lose a game that you still could have won anyway. If if Fogarty nails that field goal, if the bounce of the ball goes the Raiders' way just once out of 5 times, you guys are in a prelim. I'm still really happy with where the Raiders are at.
Yeah, for sure. I think Hudson Young was the standout for me. Some of the stuff he did in that game obviously got sin bin, but
unstoppable.
There was the charge down in extra time as well that sort of got fun on the radar. Also, if I'm going to nitpick one thing, that run that when Jamal Fogarty had the shot at field goal, where he ran from the left side to the right, it was just
get down,
just get down to the left post and set it up for him. I think he made it very, very difficult for Fogarty after that moment. I think that's one that he'll watch back on the tape this week. He'll know straight away. That was just the one moment that I thought, fuck, that game could have ended there.
Not to excuse it, and I know you're not necessarily saying this. In kind of his defence, even though it was the wrong play, he is usually relied on to make a big play in those situations. The game's on the line, how do you make something happen? But I agree with your point. I definitely agree with your point.
Yeah, so proud of the Raiders. Both sides were fantastic. Played an incredible brand of footy, and they should both hold their heads so high. And what the Raiders did, look, you know it, Kempy. They gave up an 18-point lead that they shouldn't have, and it's awful, but it took a generational player at his absolute peak for 15 minutes to make that happen. And sometimes when a player is like that, as per Nathan Cleary in the grand final a couple of years ago, there's nothing you can do about it at times. And the kicks he hit, the 40-20s and all that, there's not a lot you can do to stop him. So, mate, the Raiders were unbelievable. Fantastic game of footy. And to Rue's point, we're struggling to close out games in a conventional rugby league manner with a field goal when you set up on the line for a shot from 10 out that you should not be missing. We can't do it. We've won games on the buzzer this year, but they've been through ridiculous try-scoring circumstances. There was the one Rue said there where Hudson just had to take the tackle. Jamal was set up. Mate, I wouldn't be confident that Jamal would hit it anyway, because I think it was... Again, it was all such a blur, but there was late in the game where Jamal did have a crack and we were set up 10 metres out from the line. The shot was on. Mate, didn't even get close to getting a shot away. And it's not solely his fault. There's service from dummy half. blockers being in the right place, all sorts of things, whatever it might be. But like one thing I've seen, every time players, including Ben Hunt, nail a field goal to win a game from 10, 20, 30, 40 out in front, they're deep. It's just too flat every time. And look, they obviously practice at training and they do it flat and it works, but it doesn't seem to be working in games for us. And our ability to, as I said, ice a game in a conventional way, we're battling to do it.
Yeah, it's funny, like we were talking about, like when your weaknesses in the season sometimes come back to bite you in these big games. And although anyone listening to the podcast knows how big of fans we are of Fogarty, like he is truly, his year has been unbelievable. But you go back to that Penrith game and you ended up winning the game, so it covered over the cracks a little bit. But Fogarty had multiple opportunities to ice that game.
There's even another one, mate, really late in the game. I can't remember if it was end of regular time, if it was in extra time, golden point, whatever. And he was terrific yesterday, Jamal Fogarty. Yep. But at key times, like he was tackled on fourth at one point where he ran the ball and it's like, mate, we need your boot for this last tackle. I went to Ethan Strange, scooted a little bit. I think you were coming off your 30 after it instead of your 10. Just little things that... not icing them in the way they should be iced.
Yeah, and I said last week, like in regards to the Fogarty, when he couldn't ice those Penrith Panthers or the couple of weeks before, like to win a premiership, you have to have a player that can do that. And so that's his challenge in this. This is his opportunity in this final series, is to just round out the last bit of his game, which is, because if you actually go back a couple of years, he had a similar issue. I think it was the Dolphins, where he had like 4 attempts at, and we know he's a good kicker. We know he's a great kicker. But he's just, in those high pressure situations, he's just got to find a way to just take a step back, maybe take an extra step back, and just find a way to calm his mind and nail it. Because that's probably his big challenge for this series, is those big high pressure moments. Just got to find a way to nail it.
And as well, like you're obviously talking about the in-play kicking and field goals, like same against Penrith a few weeks ago, missed that goal.
Yeah,
just
pretty close.
Just inside of the sticks, did the exact same thing off the Ethan Strange try.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit further out, but for a kicker like him,
nails it usually.
Got to get those, yeah. And we said at the time, I think I said 9 times out of 10. You said, 99 times out of 10 he hits that.
Yeah.
The closest we came in that game was Kyle Weeks actually hit the post with a shot. I was like, mate, this has to be Jamal's job. But for some reason, he just, can't get it right.
But so, that goal kick there as well, like if he would have got that, changes the game completely.
Oh.
Like it becomes 3 scores all of a sudden, which I reckon almost just breaks the heart of the Broncos to some extent.
I mean, they needed everything to go their way, literally everything. Thoughts on the icing of the game? Do you think it's a challenge for them heading into this final?
Yeah, a little bit of it. Probably a few things could have gone a little bit smoother there. They probably would have thought they had it in the bag a little bit earlier than that. They might not have needed it to come down to icing it again, but. Maybe definitely something they'll work on, and they'll look at the tape on that, I'm sure, in the week. But quality player Fogarty. He's iced plenty of other games for him this year so far.
Yep.
So I'm sure if he gets another chance,
it was like a bit of a weird scenario when the sin bins happened, and when Ethan Strange. I know me sitting on my lounge, I went, okay, it's done here. Like surely Broncos can't get themselves.
When Carrian went, you're like, I think we were up 18 at that time. Like surely.
Yeah.
I know the Broncos, they are the exception, but even myself, I just went, this has to be it.
Yeah. Very, very strange. I will say some really smart coaching from Ricky, and I'll have to go back and re-watch it because maybe he pulled out of the line for different reasons. I thought it was brilliant coaching from Ricky to start. I think it was like the first 20 or 30 minutes, you guys laid 3 grubbers in behind the line, and I think the Kyle Weeks one, it went dead, but it had the desired effect because basically, and I don't know if it was a set-up play, but it all seemed to come together perfectly. So you'd done those 3 early grubbers in behind, scored off one of them. I think you got a repeat set off the other, and then the Kyle Weeks one went dead. In the next 5 minutes, the try that Kyle Weeks scores, Hetherington is too far wide on the A, and I personally think that's because Reece Walsh was shitting himself, and usually he goes into A on the line, but because of all those short grubbers, I think that's what pulled Walsh out of the line, created the space for Kyle Weeks to score in the try.
Speak about it all year, Kempy, and I don't know, fullback in the line all the time is the answer. The first 2 tries from the Raiders, there was Hudson Young's kicking my line. Granted, it was an unbelievable kick, but a back row was doing with that ease for, I think it was Seb Chris. And then, the first one as well to Hudson Young. It's like, Walsh wasn't in QE.
No.
And it's not even Walsh's fault. He's just playing the modern fullback, defending at that sort of A defender, and he couldn't get there. And that was easy as it comes.
So I don't know whether, listen, if that was set up to roll those in early, and to be fair, a lot of coaches do roll in early to keep the wingers honest, but if it was set up, because like that spacing from Hetherington was like mind-blowing. It was so poor. Like you're in a finals game, you're a good defender. Hetherington, his strength is his defence. The only thing that makes sense to me is he thought Reece Walsh was inside him, and that's why his spacing was so poor. But if they did set up for KO Weeks to get one off the ruck and just go bang off the right foot and go through, that is master coaching. Master coaching. Some other good, we already spoken about Hudson Young and how good he was. To be honest, I felt like I just loved the grit and the toughness. And I know they've already proven that, the Raiders, but to prove it against a Broncos side that's up for this match and, you know, to go toe-to-toe, and matter of fact, for 60 of the minutes, physically dominate the Broncos, like, that's huge. That's not an easy thing to do.
I felt a bit sorry for Ricky towards the back end of this game. I thought that, you know, I'm the biggest Owen Paddy fan in the world, but I thought that it was the right call to leave Tom Starling out there for the 80 minutes. I think once they got up, it was the right call. Starling was the man for that job. But then when you went to overtime and extra time, and Starling, his ass was obviously hanging out by that point. He was sort of forced into making this, not forced, but I think by that point it was like, okay, we probably need to get some fresh legs out there when you probably, in hindsight, would have rather have the more experienced head in Tom Starling. There was a few moments there that I think Owen Paddy will learn a lot from. But I don't feel like Ricky made the wrong decision, but it just ended up playing out to be the wrong decision, I think.
I mean, the only thing I could think of, and this is definitely hindsight, like, you take him off early and they score those 16 points anyway. So it's like, oh, they would have scored him anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? And then you bring him back on. Because that last 20 minutes, if you took Starling off in that last 20 minutes, it would have changed much. Again, this is hindsight talking. And so that's the only thing I can think of. Hindsight, you took him off for 20 minutes to go anyway. Broncos score those 16 minutes, but at least Starling's fresh to come back on in extra time.
For sure, but I think, obviously in hindsight. But I think at the time, when they were up by that many points, they weren't chasing points. They were just looking to defend it out. I think leaving Starling on was the right call.
I will say Starling's performance was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Like, to think that a guy that was like definitely second string, but like at times third or fourth string over the last few years, could improve as much as he has, to have that performance against the Brisbane Broncos in the finals game is outstanding.
He was so good, wasn't he? Like, just
tore us apart.
Every time he darted from dummy half, he was just leaving bodies on the ground or creating space for the blokes around him or engaging markers. It was as good as he's played, really. Like, you know, he's had games with more major attacking stats and all that, but in terms of just doing damage around the ruck, wasn't he brilliant?
Absolutely brilliant. And just quickly before we move on, big concern though, heading at it, is that right side defence. Like, they have to sort that out. Like, I think Timoko had 10 missed tackles. And I know, 9 missed tackles out of 15. Wasn't his best day as well. Just that edge defence, geez, they got to sort that out quickly.
Sharkies love going that way too.
Yeah.
Mulitalo, Kale, you know, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, the edge defence has been questionable all year.
Yeah, and so that's going to be a real worry heading into finals footy, because people are going to watch the video, people are going to go, wow, there's a bit of joy down here. Like, there wasn't... Yeah, well, what do you reckon obviously they stick with what they've got, but what do you reckon they do to fix it quickly?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
You can't just click your fingers, unfortunately. Yeah. So, and that's been the combination for a long time. So, yeah, I just got to hope they get it right on next week.
Yeah. I thought Sasangi off the bench was bloody outstanding.
He's been so good.
What the hell, bro? He's like an impact player of the year, this bloke. He comes on and tore us apart.
He is unreal. There was a moment I was right behind it at the game. Made a break down the left edge, had an opportunity to draw and pass. Obviously, I didn't see it replayed properly. Do you remember the one I'm talking about? Like, it was on the try line, and
I think it was like early him coming on.
Basically had an opportunity to give Jed Stewart, it might have been, the opportunity to basically go not even quite one-on-one with the winger and score it. Should he have given it, do you remember? Or was it he tucked and got held up or knocked on or something?
I don't think he
had an opportunity to give it.
Okay.
Is my memory. But
yeah, okay.
All I remember thinking is, like, that bloke has just got on the field and he's tearing us apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought he was outstanding. I thought Morgan Smithies, that's the best game I've seen him play for Canberra. I thought he was outstanding. He was really, really, really good. Horsburgh good. I mean, to be honest, like, outside of the big concern is obviously that edge defence, but it's just the errors. Like, they just got to sort that out. You know, this Raiders side, if they're completing at 85%, like, there's outside of the Melbourne Storm, maybe Penrith, I don't think people are going with them.
Zach Hosking, 94 minute. Like, he was outstanding, like, penalty aside. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, some good performances.
So, yeah, good signs. Now, onto the Brisbane Broncos. I am just like, obviously you got the Reece Walsh situation, you know, 2 blokes in the bin, you know, regardless of how you feel about it, 2 blokes in the bin, down at Canberra, Game is done and dusted. This, for me personally, this was a Michael Maguire win because the ticker and fight and belief that he has instilled in this playing group to still think you can win it when you're against the minor premiers at their home ground, you've had 2 blokes in the bin, and you still find a way to win it. That's why this is a Michael Maguire victory for me. That's just pure heart and ticker, plus a superstar in Reece Walsh, obviously. But I just think the heart they showed to somehow, some way still be in it. The heart they showed is to be like, you know what, we can still win this game. Just incredible stuff from the Brisbane Broncos.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start here. Like, it's just so much to take in. I tell you what, I did love that first try, and you talk about Reece Walsh and the things he did in this game. Just I love that try assist he had for Tony Staggs. Like he does
smart.
everything smart, but just his ability. He's so lightning quick and on his feet, but then the ability to play slow as well. I thought that was just perfect ball playing for him.
Yeah.
Like so far beyond where he should be in his career. Like just how well rounded he is that he can do both is just crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, you summed it up well, Kempy, but incredible, the Broncos. As you said, the belief they had in themselves and, while the game looked dead and bare, you just felt like they've got this confidence in their own abilities, the Broncos, that they never gave up at any point. And, I think everyone sitting in the crowd was going at 18 points with not long to go, game over.
Yeah.
The Broncos, you just felt like they never thought that. And even a lot of the tries they scored on the late bust, mate, made them look pretty easy. Everything just clicked and... to be able to fight back from that deficit in a finals game away from home with a roaring local crowd, unbelievable win for them. And to touch on that play of that Staggs opener and the work of Reece Walsh, right in front of me where that try was scored. And I was burning, but there was just a little NRL nerd in me. I was like, oh, roaming Katoni, how good is that?
Mate, and just smart footy, like going,
So
okay,
good.
we're going to get the most explosive bloke on the field physically, and we're going to get him straight on Fogarty, probably the smaller player in this Raiders side, and to execute it the way they did. And you can't be angry at Fogarty there. Like, it's just a mismatch. Like, what are you supposed to do there?
They just executed it, as you said, Roo, so perfectly. And Staggs very rarely comes out of his edge. And to do it that early on in the game, I think he just caught everyone off guard. I'd love to know how long they've had that in the back pocket for, because had the plan, executed it to a T, ambushed, was brilliant.
Mate, and I just, the ticker that they showed, like, everything wasn't going their way in regards to, like, the sin bins, the errors, like, it just wasn't their day. And you're sitting there going, and in my notes, I've got like, this is my worry for the Broncos, is they have this incredible performance against the Storm. They come down to the Raiders, they think, fuck it, we're just going to spin the ball, we're going to score as many points as we want, we're going to get ahead of ourselves. And that's what happened. Like, they were completing at like 70%, just making silly mistakes. But they just somehow, some way wrangled it out of the fire. It's just absolutely incredible performance. Incredible. What do you think of the Broncos, mate?
Unbelievable. To come back, particularly when they were so far down and the game seemed dead and buried. They definitely showed a lot of ticker on the weekend. Very smart play. That was a good one that you picked up on there, Timmy, particularly so early in the game. So have the guts to kind of go, let's just roll it out now. Let's not save it for some other point in the game. Very impressive. They've probably demonstrated to me that they can actually... They can't win the comp now, really.
It's just crazy.
They just defy everything you know about finals footy.
It's bizarre.
They just do the opposite of all of it. And I keep thinking it'll punish them at some point. Will it? I don't know.
It did punish them on the weekend. They were done and they still won.
Absolutely mental.
Sure, like it punished them for a period of time, but I don't think they fucking realise that. It doesn't faze them. They're not scared of anything.
They're not.
I mean, you would expect them to get to halfway and go, fuck, not our day, boys. Like, we're not completing high. It's not working for us. Reece Walsh to bang 2 40-20s, and I think it was nearly 3 at one stage. Like,
they completed 80%.
Yeah, and that was...
They had 55 set.
Which is crazy because that was the run where they scored all their points. So they went, I think they went like 10 for 10 and they scored all their points. So, and it's similar to the Raiders, though, is that I believe the Raiders are the same. If they complete high, they can do that as well. Like, we've seen it this year.